excited to be here with you for a short while today. My name is Miss Erickson. Some of my kids called me Miss E, so whatever is easier for you. I'm making a marker here, but maybe I won't. Maybe you guys will impress me. I don't even need to write it up here. Huh? Is it sticking behind here? There, I got one. Thank you so much. All right, so we have a job to do as readers today, which I'm sure you have jobs to do every day as readers, I'm assuming, okay? And my sentence of our goal for today is up here on the board, so read it with me, please. I can blank and synthesize in order to help me determine the author's purpose. That is a mouthful and a half, so we'll talk about what exactly does that mean. But there's a key word right there that good readers do all the time. Do you have any ideas what it might be? I'm glad. 2 already. I can blank and synthesize in order to help me determine the author's purpose. 4 hands. Okay, let's take a guess and we'll see if we have another clue. John?
Inference.
Ooh, you know something about what good readers do. Inferring and making inferences is definitely a strategy that we want to be using. This is a different one. I just put the same lines right here. Yes?
Revising.
Revising. That is also something that good writers do all the time. Excellent. Okay, my key word here, I'm going to give you a hint. As soon as you know it, you can say it. Your job is to beat me before I write it.
Summarize. Summarize.
And at the end of the word was this?
Summarizing.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, so we can summarize and synthesize in order to help us determine the author's purpose. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's take it apart word by word. One of the key words there is summarize. So if you were going to tell me in your own words what it is to summarize, what would you say? And I can tell I have a bunch of smart 5th graders in here, so don't be shy. Spencer?
Like tell the most important ideas.
Tell the most important ideas. And I would add, do you use the author's words?
No.
Whose words would you use?
No.
Your words. Perfect. So what about synthesize? Let me think. Yes? You're absolutely on the right track. I have some thinkers up there, don't I? So you're taking that information, you summarized it, and you're putting it through your own mind on purpose because you want to add your opinion or your judgment. Sometimes when I'm synthesizing, I even notice that my thinking changes. How many of you have ever been reading a book and you're reading along and you're like, oh, I know exactly where this author is taking me, and I can even probably predict the ending, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. Does that ever happen to you? Okay. And when that happens, sometimes it changes our thinking. It makes us look at things in a new way. We might have a new opinion or a new judgment on it because of it. So when that happens, you're synthesizing. You're taking the information in, pulling out the main ideas, and now I can add my own opinion or judgment or notice that change in thinking. Make sense? Okay, we can talk more about that piece. So we're going to summarize and synthesize, taking in the information, pulling out the main parts from our point of view, and then use that to help us figure out the author's purpose. What on earth is the author's purpose? Why is that pie there? I want to see how many of you really know and are just maybe not raising their hand. If you think you know, whisper to someone sitting next to you. I want to see how many whisper. Why is the pie there? You know what? Anybody know about that? Why is the pie there?
Oh, for purpose. Purpose something.
You more people do.
Is purpose something?
I'm hearing all the keywords. Okay, so tell me, Why would I put a pi there if we're talking about author's purpose? P would stand for
Persuade.
I would stand for
Entertain.
inform, other way, and E, entertain. You are smart. Alright, so this is exactly what we're going to do today. But before I make you do it, I'm going to do it with maybe a little bit of help from you. Okay? We'll go back to that in a second. I have one of my all-time favorite books here. Who would win? Komodo Dragon versus King Cobra. If you end up liking this book, there are more that are like it. It is by Jerry Pallotta. He's written many, 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 many books. And it's fun because you kind of get to interact with it and think, who is going to win? Based on some of the facts, clues that he's telling us. Okay? So we're going to try to work with summarizing this to figure out his main purpose. I just want to know right now, raise your hand if you're on Team Komodo Dragon. You think Komodo Dragon's going to win? Raise your hand if you're on Team King Cobra. Alright, here we go. And now, you may change your mind when you start hearing some of these details. So if you want to switch from one team to the other based on what you learn, no problem with that. Okay? Alright. What would happen if a tough Komodo dragon came face to face with a deadly King Cobra? What if they were both hungry? If they had a fight, who do you think would win? Teeth. Komodo dragons have teeth. Their teeth are unusual for a land animal. They are serrated like a shark's teeth. Serrated means jagged like a saw, right? Fangs. King cobras have fangs. A fang is a long, hollow tooth used to inject venom. Did you know if a king cobra's food is too large, it can unhinge its jaw and widen its mouth? Okay, I just learned a lot. Let me stop for a second, because my goal is to summarize this, right? So I learned two pieces. One of them has really sharp teeth. The other one has more like fangs. But more importantly than the fangs, it has this jaw that can get bigger than... Can we open our mouth past? No. So imagine that, right? So I'm going to say that I think the main idea on this page would be the king cobra being able to unhinge that, because if they're going into battle, that would be a pretty good defense, right? Because if he can only make his jaw this much and the king cobra is this big, it's not going to work. But if he can unhinge, better. So I'm going to take that away as my main idea, okay? Deadly venom. There are only 3 known poisonous lizards: the Gila monster, the Mexican beaded lizard, and the Komodo dragon. In addition to venom, the Komodo dragon has dangerous bacteria in its mouth. Here's my other animals. I got some extra details here. King cobra, and I heard some people say they already knew that. I'm glad. A king cobra bite is deadly. A king cobra does not have the deadliest poison of all snakes, but it injects the most poison. Its poison is a neurotoxin. One king cobra bite has the strength to kill an elephant or 20 people. Whoa, wait, what? One king cobra bite has the strength to kill an elephant or 20 people. I have some additional details down here. Dangerous definition. A neurotoxin is a poison that paralyzes its victim's nerves and muscles. So if the neurotoxin goes into you, it would become frozen, not being able to move, like paralyzed. Snake trivia. Some species of cobras can spit their venom, but a king cobra cannot. Interesting, because if he goes face to face with my Komodo dragon, he can't just spit it from far away. He actually has to get close enough to bite him. So main idea here, they both have some poisonous features. I'm saying they're kind of equal here. I don't see one that's standing out more than the other necessarily. They both can be poisonous. Next page, forked tongues. The Komodo dragon has a forked tongue. It splits into 2 sides. A Komodo tongue is sensitive, and when it flicks out its tongue, it can detect where a deer might be nearby, so it can sense with its tongue. Do we know other animals that can do that?
No.
Yeah. The king cobra also has a forked tongue. It smells with its tongue. Its tongue can also sense motion and temperature. Interesting. So they both have the forked tongue. I'm summarizing in my own words now. They both have the forked tongue. This one can, I have to look back. Sometimes when I read a lot of information, I have to look back, right? Don't have to expect to memorize it all. This one can sense like a deer, so it can sense things. This one can sense motion and temperature. So he can sense maybe a little bit more. Both have that forked tongue and both have that capability. All right. Komodo dragon's skull, king cobra skull. I'm going to ask you after this page if you change who you think might win. This is the skull of a Komodo dragon. It looks a bit flat, like the skulls of crocodiles and alligators. Anything that tries to escape it gets cut by the sharp side of its teeth. A Komodo dragon is also called an ora, or a land crocodile. Interesting. Don't think that's really helping me get at the main idea, though. It's not getting back to what I'm trying to do here. Okay? But it has a big skull and sharp teeth. King cobra skull. This is the skull of a king cobra. It does not have much of a skull. Its brain is mostly unprotected. Will that matter?
Yeah.
Could it matter?
Yeah.
How would it matter? Yes.
Brain messes up. Like if it breaks and stuff, you die because
Okay. So now I'm like, okay, Komodo dragon's pretty strong, he's pretty big. If he comes up to king cobra before he gets a chance to bite, doesn't have protection of the brain, could be a bad thing, right? I'm going to remember that key point from these 2 pages. All right, I'm skipping a couple of pages. With legs, without legs. Look at the skeleton of the Komodo dragon and king cobra. What differences do you notice right away?
I don't know.
Anybody can help me out here. What do you notice is different? Haley.
The king cobra has more bones.
The king cobra, say that a little louder.
It has more bones, so it's probably more flexible.
Okay, maybe a little more flexible the way that he's shaped and we know about snakes. Good, probably key point. Flexibility might help in a fight, right? Ashley? Yeah, our titles sometimes help us pull out that main idea. This one has legs, this one does not. Thank you for using those nonfiction text features. They help us. Perfect. All right. Anyone change their mind on who might win? You've changed your mind?
Yeah.
What were you to begin with? And now you flipped to the king cobra. Okay. This is an interesting fact. Mother Komodo dragons lay about 25 eggs per clutch. Komodo dragon babies live in trees. They eat bugs, small lizards, rodents, and eggs. Very interesting. Didn't know that before. Not sure that I pulled that out as a main idea. Over here, here's a king cobra baby. A king cobra is the only snake that makes a nest. It looks like a bird's nest. Interesting. Down here, gross fact. Young Komodo dragons roll in animal waste to protect themselves. That is gross. Okay, I don't think I gained any main idea there, but definitely some interesting facts. Strange behavior. Did you know baby Komodo dragons are born with stripes that disappear when they grow up? Okay, changes how it looks. Probably not going to get me back again to that main idea of the fight. I probably would not include that in my summary. A Komodo dragon sometimes eats its own children. Young Komodos are smart enough to escape up a tree. Imagine, your mother just gave birth to you and you escape up a tree because you're afraid your mother's going to eat you. Quite the life, right? Glad I'm not a Komodo dragon. Okay, I think I've got enough to summarize